before as a change order request. So
Right.
that was, probably 2 or 3 months ago. And this is finally the paperwork, and this is, you've already basically approved it once, but this is just the official act that you're approving all those change orders.
Which is something that's part of the process, so we bring it to you ahead of time, you've already approved it, but now we have to bring it back to you as the final process.
Right.
Yep, yep.
So that was the same meeting when Terry McCarthy came and presented, and we had discussion on that.
Mhm.
And you had a comment about, I forgot what the percentage was, but you said from the beginning, we estimate a certain amount of change orders, and we're within that expected range.
We estimate 5%, and I think at that point in time, we were just around 1%.
Okay.
And I think we're still under
Okay.
2%. Actually, that was the major change orders that we had for all of our projects.
Okay, that's what I was thinking, I just wanted to remind myself, it's been a while since we talked about that. Thanks.
Any other questions?
We get more of these deducts in there.
The deducts are nice, aren't they?
Deducts are nice, yes.
Yeah, they've done a nice job, actually.
No big surprise. Motion to accept,
So moved?
and a second. Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Change order approved. Next item up is phase 4A, pretty much the same thing with the Holland contract. Highlights or questions there?
And that basically is a deduct, but we have to bring it to you because that's the FEMA, and that's federal dollars. So I just want to make sure that we're doing everything correctly and that you know that that's a change order. And we have to have all those all approved by Jennifer Jones down at Des Moines before we move forward with the change orders.
And they have to see the change order first before we can even move forward, so they have to, it's almost like it's a pre-approval of a change order. It's a pretty involved process. It's good
Overall,
news.
with people, they've been pretty easy to work with, or, as long as the details are there. And
Actually, they're great to work
Yeah.
with. I work with them ahead of that SEP grant any day.
I was gonna say that.
The state energy program.
Good. Any other questions? If not, motion to approve, and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That is passed. And BEM 95 is the high school dining area project.
Should I sign it? Oh, it's not, there it is, I just missed it, sorry.
Questions or comments?
I think Ramona spent a lot of time, and Scott, you were part of this as well, in terms of looking at the possible dining room furniture that we would be able to bring in to the new dining areas. This is one place in the construction project where we did include some new furnishings. So I think, Ramona, did you have 4 or 5 groups come to bring?
We had 3 different vendors, and we even had a booth for the kids to sample, and it was only held 4 students. And the football players, I think they found it was a little tight. So we found out that, we won't get 6 in the booths, but only 4. But yeah, I think the kids really liked it, and what we tried to do was come up with colors that are inviting, but not obnoxious, not that you would get tired of. So that Manitoba maple, mine would pull up, is, let's see. It's more like maple look, but that matches the beams that are in the ceiling of the new cafeteria, is why we went with the majority of that color.
Should be in there. There we go.
So this is a sample of what the booths would be made of. And they say not to go with like a solid color, like a solid white or a solid black or solid red, because they show everything. If it's dented or bumped into or scratched, you would notice it right away. But when there's different colors, that's the best route to go. So we're excited, the kids were excited, because we were always out there over the lunch hour looking at it, and they thought the booths would be great. So we're excited.
And the layout, if you look at it, we'll use some of our, in the middle section, we'll be using some of our existing furniture. We'll also only, the long tables are tell me the name of those again, the ones that have those seats that, the long
Oh,
tables.
undergraduates?
Undergraduates, thank you. We're not ordering as many as you see in that design, because we'll use some of our own round tables in there as well, so we're not taking that entire look, but the booths will be around the outside, and this is in the high school side.
And then the socializers are the 4 with chairs, and they're the bar height and then the high top chairs. And then we're putting 4 of those socializers up in the commons in the high school,
Without chairs.
without chairs, just for if they need to stand up to them.
So, yeah, so kids, they have stuff in their hands, if they've got a, they can stand there with their books and a little more.
And the booths can be moved, we're getting a mover too that will, they just kind of hook it underneath and lift them up and move them, so it can be cleaned and waxed and polished and.
So with this format that's laid out here, what does that do as far as seating compared to where we're at today?
Oh, we have lots more. This is like 420 at least. We could probably get close to 450 in there, I believe, but we figured at 420 we'd be good. Probably right at 400 will be good.
It's about what we're thinking.
But yeah, that's exciting.
We get 4 lunch periods at high school or 3?
Three.
So just like one, so when that kids.
The 8th grade has its own.
Except next year, we're gonna still serve the 8th grade on the high school dining side.
During that construction piece.
The reason, there's a couple different reasons for that, but, those kids, the 8th grade, the junior high would be served differently. They wouldn't have all the choices that they have on the high school side. So it's kind of hard to make the 8th grade kids walk by the high school dining and then go into theirs and they don't get the, they like that big, I don't know if you've heard comments, but that Big Daddy pizza, they just love. I've had it myself, it's very good. Godfather's is my favorite, and I'd say it's probably better, or just as good as Godfather's, I better say.
Very good. And so the final price quote is?
I think I sent that to you, didn't I?
Yes.
Yeah, it's,
Size.
9.
91.
Oh, yeah, 100,000.
Yeah, it's about 100,000.
100,000 for that, and then, that's for the booze and mover. And then I think the 15,000 is for the socializers and the 6 undergraduates.
Right.
They did it separately because we're all going through school specialty, but school specialty handles the quote for 15,000. And then it's the ISL, which is a different brand, but does only the booths, and they do that for different companies, but they sell it on, you have to go through school specialty in order to buy the booths. So that's why they did it separately for me.
So these would be in place for this fall?
Yes.
It's ISI, Interior Systems Incorporated.
Thank you.
Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. And it is a really good.
Yeah.
Item 141 is the food service breakfast and lunch fee. And Ramona, if you'd like to, again, refresh us on the reason we have to do this.
The reason we have to increase hot lunch is because we get sent from the state this little spreadsheet. You have to plug in what our lunches are and then what they have, what the range has to be. And if we are higher than what they have to be, then we have to increase our lunches, because what the Department of Ed is saying is that we are subsidizing the regular full-price meals for the free subsidy that we get from the federal government. And they don't think that that's quite the thing to do. So we had to raise it. We raised it last year at 10 cents at the semester, and we will raise it 10 cents now going forward, with the idea that hopefully next year we won't have to. But it's also based on the number of free and reduced students that we have.
And we're right at about 1,534.
on free and reduced.
$15.34.
So we're being required to raise this.
We are
Yeah,
required by the
49.
state, yes.
And the state changes their numbers yearly? How
Yes.
often do they come out there?
Every year,
Mhm.
every year. So we either will have to keep raising it, you know, I said last year that I thought we'd have to for the next 4 years. So, with what, you know, if everything would stay the same, maybe next year we wouldn't have to. But, you know, there's schedule changes and then the number of free and reduced changes, so it's something that we have to look at per year. It's not a choice, I know we wouldn't raise it if we had a choice, but
We want to stay with you.
yes, we have to.
Well, and one of the way that I think when we talked to who's the youth food service lady or something.
Oh, Laura Jensen.
Laura, the way she explained it to us is we basically did such a good job of getting extra food and we were actually charging less than what the state was saying we had to, so that's for whatever reason. It's just a weird consequence, but we were doing too good a job keeping prices down, so.
And what, I think our lunch is in comparison with Clearly,
Mhm.
they're about the same price.
Yeah.
But they don't have the free and reduced population that we have, so they don't have to raise theirs.
No, ours is, and Clearly it just stays kind of, we raised it last year. I don't, we didn't have to raise it this year.
Thanks for that refresher. Any other questions? If not, motion to approve. Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item BEM 96 is proposed student fees for the next school year. Any questions on those? Comments?
Can you just help us remember where we're at this year in comparison, or what's,
Everything is the same. The only thing that changed would be the hot lunch fees that you just approved.
so no increase in student fees?
Correct.
And that includes transportation,
Correct.
which is another interesting bit of information. I think, in terms of ridership is up, which is good. We're at about 2,200 kids riding a day. Somewhere in
Yes.
that neighborhood.
Yes. I'm going
And,
to say overall, we had about 2,387 students that we transported by bus, and on average daily, it's probably closer to 20.
and, you know, a few years ago, we talked about whether or not to raise the price of transportation, and we opted not to do that. And if you can now consider free duty distance or reduced lunch population, 1,540 some students, 45 students or 34 students, are at that level, you know that we're not making any money on transportation presently at all. Not breaking even. That's where we're spending taxpayer dollars.
Any other comments? If not, motion to approve.
So moved.
And second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Fees remain the same. BM 97 is the quotes that we were given for our dairy purchases for the upcoming year. Historically, there were 3, but this year there were 2. The low bid being Anderson Erickson out of Des Moines. Fairly self-explanatory with the numbers. Any questions or comments?
That's my question, was with the historicals were for Mason City only, but is what we're seeing as a quote up here, is that joint?
Yes,
Mhm.
it's for both Mason City and Clearly.
And our percentage of that would be,
I would guess it'd be 60/40, pretty close to the.
Pretty
same.
close to 60/40, I would guess. We became a consortium to do some bidding,
which is obviously gonna save us
which
some
is
money.
to save us both districts some money. So we'll see, yeah. So how that's exactly gonna play out, you know, I don't know, we may want to look at, but I would think it'd be more like 60/40, just like we split everybody else.
Correct. And Prairie Farms bought out Roberts Dairy, and I think they had our bid in the past.
Do you have any, this is a ballpark guess, but do you have any idea percentage-wise how much we're saving? Do we save 5-10% by ordering from Clear Lake? Is that something you can even kind of estimate on, or?
I would tell you, at the end of the year, I could probably tell you
Okay.
closer than I could right now, it would just be a guess.
Yeah, I was just curious, that would be nice later, because we've talked about a lot of sharing, but we should probably list it all out, because I think we'd all like to have that, just for our own memory and reference when people ask us questions about that. I think that's always nice to show what we've saved, because we make a conscious effort to do that. And if you can order from 2 districts and get a savings,
Right.
that's very helpful.
Absolutely. And if you remember a year ago, I think it was in the news where it said that the small schools around were having a hard time with getting people to even bid
Yes.
on their milk because it's expensive to
Yeah.
deliver it a couple times a week.
And we just looking at the numbers, we're looking at 60% would be about 80, and we paid 111 last year, so we're saving $3,000.
At the top.
But then you'd also have to compare prices and, fuel and they
Yeah.
add all that, tack that on. So do you want us just do them together?
Yeah, they're listed as separate, so we can, we'll do them separate.
Okay, well, I want to mention on the bread, if you look at that quote, that's really good, the $12,545. We have not used Panicle before, but I believe that Clear Lake had used that. And if you look at the bid, because I called Laura and I said, Laura, I said, how can it be half when,
Yeah.
Mason Cities was even more? I said, are you sure the quantities are right? I said, I don't have a problem with the price, but I said, I just want to make sure that we have bread next year.
Right.
She
Not
said,
have bread.
no, she said that I'm sure, I checked it and, this is mostly for buns. So, and I think we'll probably go back to making what little bread, or what bread we make probably in-house. Because our bakery would be back up at the high school. So,
And this was not a combined bid last year.
No.
This is the only one,
No.
so that's incredible.
So that's about a $10,000 savings right there.
If there's no more discussion, a motion to accept the dairy bid
So moved.
from Anderson Harrison in a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That bid is accepted. And then for the bakery goods, Panicle Baking out of St. Cloud, Minnesota is low bid. Motion to accept that bid.
So moved.
And a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We have two contracts. Thank you.